almost the shape of a circle, which has at its center a sea, which in its center lies the great dark canyon, right there. This major island is partitioned into 4 smaller ones by 4 rivers flowing in a cross-like formation from the ocean into the central sea. And they contain numerous small openings into the ocean. The descriptions on this map differ greatly from others, which only outline the well-known regions and do not mention this polar area. They mainly mention the area south of it, and especially those areas around the equator. Nonetheless, in order to get to all these places using this map, it is necessary for you to include the north, from where one can reach places in the east as well as in the west. It is also necessary to know that when in the North Pole, all directional points are reversed, and it is necessary to use a sextant. For example, when at the North Pole, in order to go south to Iceland, follow the compass pointing north. In order to go to America, follow the compass east. In order to get to Norway, follow the compass northwest. And in order to get to Friesland, allow the compass northeast. And to Ireland, which is not listed in this map, also go north. And in this fashion, it is possible to reach all the other regions, cities, islands, and bays which are located on this map. This is a noteworthy observation. Within the entire Arctic Circle, it is daylight for 6 months, and there is darkness for 6 months. And this day-night cycle happens yearly, which seems ridiculous and unbelievable to us Germans, Swabians, and Bavarians. Nevertheless, Ovid did not fall from grace, and these facts were given to me by many reliable eyewitnesses. But productivity can suffer on long nights due to excessive sleep. Therefore, the sailors utilize the splendid northern lights and the luminous moon, and are fully supplied with flint, firewood, grease, and body oil. So most of the labor has to be done during the night, and fishing for food during the twilight. Yet in the summertime, there is continuous daylight, but the time span of the days and hours is no different than ours. Now this is a very strange translation here. I will continue. The sound of bells is highly valued where it is desolate. Next sentence. There, the constant sun does not produce enough heat because it is never high enough to emit it. And wherever it is in the region, there is a lot of shade, and the sun seems to always be setting. From information obtained by the observation of this area, if you want to find out the distance to a place by using this map, become acquainted with the capabilities of a sextant. Do not use the degree points on the outer edge of the circle, which circumference is approximately 30,000 German miles, or 20,000 modern miles. Continuing, but the use of the line which comes from the center of the map and intersects with the 290th. The distinct points of degrees which can be found condensed around the circumference must retain the same distance throughout the globe. We're going to stop there and point out a couple of things. If we can close in right here on the Hudson Bay and go to the detail, we can see Southampton Island, much closer than the maps of the early 1800s. And we see these 2 important rivers coming in to the south of the Hudson Bay. Again, this is Alaska here, upside down without the Aleutians. This is the Bering Strait, Siberia, Nova Zembla, Spitsbergen, Greenland, Iceland, Friesland, and all of the points circumnavigated are marked in the degrees, as in the Ptolemaic tradition. If someone were going to put on a map the depths of the Hudson Bay, they would have had to have come up this way and gone down into the Bay region from the north and completely explored this area to know that there were two important rivers that came into the Hudson Bay here. There is virtually no other way that it could have been done. With the detail of this map going down to Norway, again you see the fine detail of the Norwegian coast, and we can see just the tip end of Scotland right here. It is called Scotia. Iceland is very close to the way it exists today. Here is Friesland. And up here in the far right-hand corner of the map, we have a very good picture of Friesland. Now it is much more detailed. You can see the North Gulf, the South Gulf. You can see all these castles and villages all around Friesland, as well as islands here and here. Back to the center of the map. If so much detail were to be given to the Norwegian coast by these respected scholars of cartography, Nova Zembla, all these regions, wouldn't it make sense that someone had been here before? Perhaps many explorers? They certainly had to be here for more than 6 months at a time if they knew that there were 19 hours of daylight. Could they have stopped at Friesland, used it as a port to gather more supplies and sail up through here? Here we see how just a tip end of Greenland is connected to this Bargo Island. Friesland, we can easily determine, sunk in the late 1600s. Many explorers after that took soundings and found that a large area of land under the ocean here was sinking. It was checked again as late as 1944 by two different admirals, soundings taken, and proved that there was an area approximately 27 miles in diameter that was only like 30 fathoms under the sea, out in the middle of the ocean, the great depth of the North Sea. The historical map books indicate that Friesland was never a place, that it was mythological, and it was a figment of our imagination. But we have conducive evidence that states different. And oddly enough, out of all the maps that we have seen in this presentation, the Bargos Islands are perhaps the most mysterious. These Bargo Islands are never accounted for by any of the gentlemen who write such books as having been mythological or having sunk or anything, other than the fact that we received from our textbooks that this entire region is covered with polar ice. Now perhaps if there was indeed a hole in the center of the earth, at the top, at the North Pole,